Cheers.
Part 6. But first, look at this. Thoughts, feelings, an exclusive preview from Collider. We're all gripping at the seams for the first Collider update of the day. And today,
Here we are.
It was a new look at A Night of the Seven Kingdoms invites you on a new Westeros adventure and a Game of Thrones prequel exclusive.
I haven't seen any of these.
I read the article. A lot of the same, but we do have this still, which we saw a bit of this from the trailer, but here's a full res still with a really big watermark for us all to enjoy.
Right.
So I wanted to show it to you before we talked about the book. What do you think?
It looks awesome.
First off, height difference, chestnut, exposed shoulders, and someone looking up at the sky.
Yeah, that was the first thing that my eye was drawn to.
Is it a dragon? If you've
It's
read the
hard to
books,
say.
you know the answer to that. We won't spoil it for anyone who hasn't.
I'm loving Egg being swallowed up by his little cloak. He looks so little and scared. Not scared. He looks young and small. And it looks good. It looks great. It looks exactly like what we've been seeing from the trailer, but it's exciting to kind of see what the official stills that they want out there are.
Yeah, for sure. But that's about all we can say about it.
Yeah,
like
is this
I said,
the only
we saw
thing?
this from the trailer.
Oh.
Yeah, this is
So
the
I
only
was like
thing.
ready
this
for
is
like
it.
18
like
pics.
a stream of pictures. No, that was it.
Okay, it's great.
But
It's a good picture.
We're all desperate these days, so this was a lot for people to talk about. And you think that's chestnut or Sweetfoot?
It's got to be chestnut.
I think so
His
too.
feet don't look that sweet.
That's true.
It's got to be chestnut.
All right, moving on. We have an update from. That's a good question. From who? I think that Penguin Random House sent out a press release to a bunch of different people. We have an official look at the 2027 A Song of Ice and Fire calendar.
Nice.
All being illustrated by Tyler Jacobson. And I pulled up a couple things to look at about Tyler. First off, here's his Wikipedia.
Hey, Tyler.
You can see Tyler with glasses. And if you go to his Instagram, there's a picture of Tyler without glasses if you scroll to the top.
Nice.
But Tyler is a illustrator in the Forgotten Realms world and also for Magic the Gathering, like our buddy Mike Burns, who did our old poster art for the event at New York Comic Con.
Yes.
And people that do illustrations for Magic the Gathering cards or anything to do with Forgotten Realms, I think are the perfect choice to be working on A Song of Ice and Fire, clearly, because here we can see Beric Dondarrion absolutely going nuts with his flaming sword.
The sword is
and his
unbelievable.
Purple lightning on his chest. I've never had A Song of Ice and Fire calendar. I've looked at all the art for these, but this right here is a good sign.
I completely agree. Also,
Yes.
not to bring up, other internet drama
No,
that's
you should.
been happening.
This is the
over
time to talk
course.
about it, I think.
Not to bring up other internet drama, but to see true illustrations bringing the story to life is very exciting and very refreshing.
But we haven't seen all the art, so we don't know. And it's also coming from the same publishing house. So it's a little bit up in the air. Like, we don't know. We assume because this illustrator is well known for his work that AI wouldn't have been used to touch up any of his existing work, but we don't have any kind of confirmation for that.
So we only have this one
Have this
cover
yeah,
available
so far.
to us. Well, that's fair because I think over the past week, what a lot of the digging has found with the illustrated version of A Feast for Crows is not so straightforward art.
I don't have any
place.
pictures of that queued up to show everyone, but you can find it.
So, who's to say? I'm not going to make any accusations from the get-go. But this looks really cool and really neat. And so I'm excited to see that.
Look at his face. Check out his half helm. Pretty cool. But yeah, like I said before, we've got desperate shreds right now.
Truly. Absolutely, truly.
But today, it's about these two.
Oh my gosh.
What'd you think about the slice picked for today's reading and the way that it ended?
Just when I thought the mystery couldn't unravel itself any better, here you are with part 6. This was I say it every time, loved these pages. We got so many answers, but we also got so many more questions.
And a cliffhanger.
And an incredible cliffhanger. One that made me LOL. Dunk at his best. This was such an exciting set of revelations after the slow slog, not in a bad way, to this point in the story. And as I was reading and getting through these pages, I was so excited that I had the opportunity to meander through the first half of the story because
before we got to the end,
we've been waiting for the reveal. And we've been talking and guessing and chatting. And there's so many tones that are coming together for me. And so I'm really excited to talk about some of the different revelations.
Heavy set and broad, with a chest like a barrel, Lord Butterwell's good son wore a black plate over boiled leather and an ornate helm fashioned in the likeness of some demon.
Scary.
Scaled and slavering. His horse was 3 hands taller than thunder and 2 stone heavier, a monster of a beast, armored in a coat of ringmail. The weight of all that iron made him slow. Imagine the impact, though. So Heddle never got up past a canter when the course was run, but that did not prevent him making short work of Sir Clarence Charlton, as Charlton was borne from the field upon a litter. Heddle removed his demonic helm. His head was broad and bald, his beard black and square. Angry red boils festered on his cheek and neck.
Scary.
Dunk knew that face. Heddle was the knight who growled at him in the bedchamber when he touched the dragon's egg, the man with a deep voice that he'd heard talking with Lord Peake. A jumble of words came rushing back to him. Beggar's feast you've laid before us. Is the boy his father's son? Bittersteel. Need the sword. Old Milkblood expects. Is the boy his father's son? I promise you, Bloodraven is not off dreaming. Is the boy his father's son?
John the Fiddler, he who is Daemon Blackfyre II.
Let's go.
The second of his name. He's a noble. He is a sir. As he says to Dunk, I think you already knew that about me.
You already knew that about me.
Which was such a great exchange before Dunk
You've been calling me my lord since the road.
Why have you been doing that?
Yep.
Surely you knew something was different about me.
Yeah.
What a reveal. What a reveal. We knew that he was somebody important. Clearly, he was somebody with enough status to be traveling with a small army at his beck and call.
And everyone to listened to every whim and waver that he had.
Whatever he wanted to do. I think the mixture of John the Fiddler being announced as being revealed as Daemon Blackfyre II, and then also we finally get the answer of why we are here at this mid-tier wedding.
Yeah.
And the two of those things kind of coming together, a meeting of the minds for people who have certain interests, and this was enough of an excuse for people to get together without there being too many suspicions raised elsewhere.
Yeah.
And so we have all of these people, we have these career hedge knights who are out here
who
just
knew nothing, apparently.
Making a coin.
Like even someone as informed as Underleaf being the butt of the joke in this chunk of reading.
Yeah, I kind of feel bad for him a little bit.
I would have.
Maybe, but then he made a lot of money.
About him.
Yeah, true.
Yeah.
We have those type of people here. We have people like John the Fiddler and even Dunk who show up under different names, pretending to be somebody else.
Yeah.
Here at the beginning of our pages.
The gods put Dunk there to really make this spicy, to be honest.
Truly.
Yeah.
We have Butterwell and Frey missing at the beginning of this chunk of reading in the tourney. The vibes are just off. Everything is just a little bit off.
At one point, Gormy Peak walks across the middle of the jousting arena and says, the dragon egg's been stolen. And John the Fiddler goes, my egg?
Exactly.
It's like what we all were, like, what everyone's suspicion was about John the Fiddler being a shoo-in for a victory for some reason just got confirmed out loud in his normal, like, whateverness.
Right, because it doesn't matter. So
right, but to a lot of people, they don't know what's going on. But I guess what that really says is that a lot of people really did know what was going on. And that brought in a bigger question to me as to what was the point of staging this whole thing in the first place? If so many people knew what the underlying, like, why was there a prize? You know, so is it attached to the need for the dream, for the mechanics of how the dragon's egg would eventually be birthed into a dragon, or was it solely to put the veil over Bloodraven's peering eye so he wouldn't get any suspicions about the tournament itself?
Right. That's how I read it. I read it as a pure, we are going to do everything right so that if somebody like Dunk wanders in and has any questions, we can say, oh, we're just here gathered for this wedding. Obviously, we would be here for a tourney.
A little tourney.
Yeah. We would be having.
If news went down the road, it would just be a wedding tourney.
Exactly.
Mid-tier wedding tourney, nothing to see here.
Exactly. And if there are conversations of a rebellion, if there are grievances with who is currently in charge, you don't want that written down on between letters. Right. And you don't want people getting, and it takes so long to travel between places. You don't want word getting out that so-and-so was seen traveling to so-and-so. So it just makes sense to put together this sham of a tourney.
But once we're here, we don't really have to be that secret.
Exactly.
Because it's not like Bloodraven's here.
Exactly. Enough to make people like Dunk, who are just kind of here to fill in the I have so many. Okay, don't even get to that part yet. I think they're just setting this up so that people like Dunk and people around him can fill in the gaps and make it feel real. I'm trying to think of a specific example, but you know that this happens all the time in our political day and age.
Oh, yeah.
And so
pageantry.
Yeah.
Yeah, let's just call it one word, pageantry.
Exactly. So it's just, I can't believe. So we have that portion near the end of our chunk of reading where Maynard Plumm is telling Dunk, like, you brought Egg into the lion's den.
Yeah.
Basically, you just waltzed in here. I told you to leave, told you not to participate, and it wasn't your life I was trying to protect. It was Egg's, which that's another thing we can talk about. But I think it's just so hilarious that Dunk meets, quote, John the Fiddler on the road. He falls in love and he's like, come to this thing. It's going to be awesome. And then literally from that interaction right there, all of this unfolds. And once again, Dunk is at the center of a major political drama that he has absolutely no business being part
Honestly,
of.
more at the center than he was before, because at least in Ashford, it was just, if it wasn't for Aryan doing something violent to someone that Dunk thought was cool and nice,
right,
then he wouldn't have been at the center of anything.
Well, exactly.
There was no underlying plot there. It was just business as usual politics there.
None of his own actions caused him to be he just was hanging. Like, he just was being himself.
Until he
and he's
kicked him
drawing attention.
in the head, but yeah.
Yeah, but that's so far gone by that point.
Yeah.
He's so deep in it by that point. So
True.
Very exciting to kind of get confirmation that we're here because of we just need a place to chat.
Yeah. And it seems bigger than we just need a place to chat based on what Gormy was saying. And that whole thing is so strange to me because it feels like, man, these guys are really grasping at straws if we're believing the Fiddler's dream. And I think that explains Butterwell's absence and him not having Blackfire, the sword, with him. I think having that Valyrian steel sword, for some reason, that kind of imagery, having Bittersteel sword here at this point in their potential spurring of this new rebellion would have been enough evidence that he could have really risen to be a replacement king because Aerys is so sickly and because Mycor is brooding at Summerhall and because Bloodraven is Bloodraven, like maybe that could have been the thing that pushed him over the edge. It all just seems a little bit slippery to me. So while they're saying that the course of the Targaryens in charge is desperate, to me, I'm saying the course of y'all's rebellion is super slippery too.
For sure.
All you needed was a sword / all you believe is that a literal dragon is going to hatch after all this is done in the right way. So that's why I asked, did he need to win the egg in a certain way for the magic or prophetic vision or whatever to come to fruition? Like, what really is going on here? It seems like a lot of pageantry that someone as gifted with his birthright and also with the experience that he's had in his life, like John the Fiddler, aka Daemon, would basically just lie and tell people in order for all this to happen around him. He seems bored.
Yeah, but he did correctly predict his brothers. And isn't that widely known?
I think that, let's say at this point that this dragon dreaming, because based on stuff we've read from the original series and stuff that Daeron said in The Hedge Knight, okay, there's truth to what they see in their visions.
Yeah.
And that some of them are blessed with this amount of vision. I mean, we could go all the way back to AGOT and talk about the three-eyed raven who is in this story, channeling into Bran's mind, and a lot of these things ended up being real. The things that Dany saw in Karth in A Clash of Kings, the fire magic and the visions in the House of the Undying. Like, we have all this evidence, the Shadow Baby, etc., the glass candles, whatever technology they're working on. We could quote all this different kind of evidence to talk about the reality of whatever mystical thread is happening within this world. But it seems like this is a pretty good marriage of like potential mysticalness, like you said, some of the visions being true, but then like there's this air of I'm just gonna fluff the edges of it and make all these people go along with my story.
Sure.
Which is what Daemon seems to be doing here. Like, does he really believe that a dragon is going to hatch here? Or is he looking at his vision in the wrong way? See, the way that I see it is that maybe George is piloting this and saying a real dragon is going to hatch here. And I think that dragon is Egg. I don't think that it's a real dragon. I think that it's Egg knowing that he needs to be the dragon. at this point. And we know what Egg's future is like, but we don't have more books of this storyline. We don't have this is the last one that George has published. So I don't really know how, let's say this is point A. I don't know how Egg goes from point A to point B to eventually want to rise to become the king of Westeros. Because at this point, it still seems like he might not want that.
Right.
You know, and it definitely seems like even though Dunk has dreams of becoming a Kingsguard, he definitely, from quotes in this chapter, doesn't think that he deserves it.
Right.
So,
well, and you think about something that Gormy himself said to Dunk. He says his dreams will be the death of all of us. So there is that air of, even if he's been correct at some points, potentially he has been and will be using it to his advantage in order to kind of get the things that he wants.
Get the ball rolling.
But I really like the idea of, if Egg is the dragon that's being hatched here, the dream was still true. It was just terrible interpretation.
Yeah, but that's like the heart of all these things,
Yeah,
right?
exactly.
It just so happened that in Ashford, Baelor did die.
Daemon Fiddler sets this whole thing up.
Yeah.
Brings his own dragon egg, right? Like this was his egg all along?
I guess, but apparently Butterwell had it. So
that was something I wasn't sure. Like, did Butterwell actually have that?
I'm assuming so.
Okay.
Yeah.
I wasn't sure if it was like actually Daemon's and he was like, oh, I'm just gonna bring it here and everyone's gonna be like a fake giving it to
weird.
Me. That would be that. I just wasn't
Maybe
sure.
They needed to convince the other people that were still on the fence about whether or not to go along with the rebellion.
Well, that's what I was thinking, because you're talking about a sword being present, you're talking about an egg being present, you're talking about enough royal blood being here.
Yeah.
That the message is we have a strong presence, and I've seen some things, and some of them have come true, and something really wild is about to happen here at White Walls. And if you're on our team, and if we can hype you up enough, this is the rallying point, and this is the time.
Well, there was a risk to talk about a dragon's egg at all if you didn't want to get the attention of anyone in the Seven Kingdoms that's currently running stuff. So they either needed to convince their other folks that were on the fence about starting this up, or it was connected to the dragon dream itself.
There's truly not enough revelry happening at this thing for it to be the beginning of the second part of the rebellion.
Not at this point, for sure.
Yeah, you know? Like, how come there's not more partying if they're really trying to hype each other up to go to war again?
Well, we didn't get to tonight.
Maybe
tonight, you know, if this stuff hadn't gone down, if Gormy Peak didn't have to be the MC, like the emergency MC, he killed the vibe for everyone, for sure. Because no one wants to see him marching out into the mud.
True.
Being the emergency MC.
Okay, so the egg is missing. Both eggs are missing.
And this whole time, Alan Cockshaw had come up to him during the tournament and was whispering sweet nothings into his ear. We failed to get into that, but he was there during the reveal with Daemon in his tent when Dunk was supposed to be looking for Egg, and for some reason he was paranoid, but he was not looking for Egg because he got caught up in what was happening in the tourney.
In John the Fiddler's aura.
Yeah, in John the Fiddler's aura. And that's when the reveal happened, and then Gorman Peak walks through, and the reveal kind of happened kind of quickly because, I don't know, I guess enough stuff was happening in the background during this day of the tourney, and their plan was about to unfold with the egg, that he felt like he was safe to tell him about his true identity. I'm just going to read a bit of that too. My men. Dunk did not like the sound of that. Attorney for traitors, he thought. You are no hedge knight. No, the fiddler's smile was full of boyish charm, but you knew that from the start. You have been calling me my lord since we met upon the road. Why is that? The way you talk, the way you look, the way you act. Dunk the lump, thick as a castle wall. Up on the roof last night, you said some things. Wine makes me talk too much, but I meant every word. We belong together, you and I. My dreams do not lie. Your dreams don't lie, said Dunk, but you do. John is not your true name, is it? No. The fiddler's eyes sparkled with mischief. He has Egg's eyes. His true name will be revealed soon enough to those who need to know. Lord Gorman Peak had slipped into the pavilion, scowling. Hedge knight, I warn you. Oh, stop it, Gormy, said the fiddler. Sir Duncan is with us, or will be soon. I told you. I dreamed of him. Outside, a herald's trumpet blew. The fiddler turned his head. They are calling me to the list. Pray excuse me, Sir Duncan. We can resume our talk after I dispose of Sir Culture the Green and his dyed green beard. So, Lord Gorman remained after Sir John had gone. His dreams will be the death of all of us. What did it take to buy Sir Galtrey? Dunk heard himself say. Was silver sufficient, or does he require gold? Someone has been talking, I see. Peake seated himself in the camp chair. I have a dozen men outside. I ought to call them in and have them slit your throat. Why don't you? His grace would take it ill. His gray stunk felt as though someone had punched him in the belly. Another black dragon, he thought. Another black fire rebellion, and soon enough, another red grass field. The grass was not red when the sun came up. Why this wedding, which we were just talking about? I did want to read this chunk. I know we've been reading a lot, but this was a much highlighted chunk of reading.
Mm-hmm.
Lord Butterwell wanted a new young wife to warm his bed, and Lord Frey had a somewhat soiled daughter. Their nuptials provided a plausible pretext for some like-minded lords to gather. Most of those invited here fought for the Black Dragon once. The rest have reason to resent Bloodraven's rule or nurse grievances and ambitions of their own. Many of us had sons and daughters taken to King's Landing to vouchsafe for our future loyalty, but most of the hostages perished in the Great Spring sickness. Our hands are no longer tied. Our time has come. Eris is weak, a bookish man and no warrior. The commons hardly know him, and what they know they do not like. His lords love him even less. His father was weak as well, that is true. But when his throne was threatened, he had sons to take the field for him, Baelor and Maekar, the hammer and the anvil. But Baelor breaks spears no more, and Prince Maekar sulks at Summerhall at odds with the king and the hand. I, thought Dunk, and now some fool hedge knight has delivered his favorite son into the hands of his enemies. How better to ensure the prince never stirs from Summerhall? There is Bloodraven, he said. He is not weak. No, Lord Peak aloud, but no man loves a sorcerer, and kinslayers are accursed in the sights of gods and men. At the first sign of weakness or defeat, Bloodraven's men will melt away like the summer snows, and if the dream the prince has dreamed comes true, and a living dragon comes forth here at White Walls, Dunk, finish for him, the throne is yours, his, said Lord Gorman Peak. I am but a humble servant, he rose. Do not attempt to leave the castle, sir. If you do, I will take it as proof of your treachery, and you will answer with your life. We have gone too far to turn back now. So, they don't know that egg is egg at this point.
Right.
That much is clear. Not even the all-knowing Daemon II, which is super interesting at this point. So, skipping down some, the viewing stands were emptying out quickly as small folk and lordlings alike scrambled to get out of the wet. See how they run, murmured Alyn, cockshaw as he slid up beside Dunk. A few drops of rain, and all the bold lords go squealing for shelter. What will they do when the real storm breaks? I wonder. They're being super open at this point. Gormy just talked to him super openly during the reveal. He walked in unstressed that Daemon just told Dunk who he was. So, like we were theorizing in our last talk, they know that the mood of Daemon at this moment is that if he likes the look of Dunk and sees that he's a seemingly trustworthy guy with his wits about him, he's basically bringing anyone into his rebellion that he will at this point.
Yeah.
So they fully expected him to have already basically probably on the balcony on the roof to have revealed who he was to Dunk, and probably were surprised that he hadn't. So he comes in without stress and knowing what they're about to do with this dragon's egg.
Yeah, the one thing as you're reading through that stood out to me is how much they're seemingly underestimating Bloodraven in this scenario. They're kind of dismissing him as somebody who doesn't have very much power. And I guess we haven't in this story physically
or loyalty from his men.
What he is or what he can truly do. But they're talking very flippantly as if Bloodraven's men will melt away like summer snows, which is surprising to me based on what we've heard and seen in our reading of A Knight of the Seven Kingdoms, where Bloodraven, while he is not liked very well, there is so much mystery and mystique surrounding his name that he seems to be one not to be underestimated. So that kind of stood out to me as they're being so open. They're just kind of dismissing this idea and really believing in this fact that a living dragon could potentially come forth here at White Walls, which is a wild thing to believe. So they're really kind of caught up in their own narrative and their own kind of excitement.
Silly lore.
At what could unravel. But I mean, when you look at the guts it would take to truly start some sort of revolution, there's got to be a bit of delusion tied to it. Otherwise, you're never going to do it.
Doesn't seem like a delusional guy.
No, but if he's bought into the whole story and the whole idea.
I guess people believe wild stuff, even if it's semi-supernatural.
Especially if it's something that you really want to believe. Because think about what his seat of power could look like if this rebellion that they're planning is a win for them. His whole life is going to change. So, of course, he's going to want to believe that everything Daemon Blackfire is seeing is true because that's beneficial to him as a person.
I thought it was unfortunate for Sir Uther that they had used him as a pawn during all of this. as well. Like I said, I don't really feel bad for him after what was revealed in our last chunk of reading. I want to read this. Y'all can tell us if you do. Dunk glanced over at Sir Uther in time to see the snail's smile go sour. This is not the match he paid for. The master of the games had crossed him up, but why? Someone else has taken a hand. Someone Cosgrove esteems more than Uther Underleaf. Dunk chewed on that for a moment. They do not know that Sir Uther does not mean to win, he realized all at once. They see him as a threat. So they mean for Black Tom to remove him from the Fiddler's path. So that would leave Tom and the Fiddler in the final round because of what they're about to do to Glenda Ball. Heddle himself was part of Peake's conspiracy. He could be relied on to lose when the need arose, which left no one but, and that's the moment that Gormy ruins everything.
And suddenly Lord Peake himself was storming across the muddy field to climb the steps to the herald's platform, his cloak flapping behind him. "We're betrayed," he cried. "Bloodraven has a spy amongst us. The dragon's egg is stolen." Sir John the Fiddler wheeled his mount around. "My egg? How is that possible? Lord Butterwell keeps guards outside his bedchamber night and day." "Slain," Lord Peake declared, "but one man named his killer before he died." Does he mean to accuse me? Dunk wondered. A dozen men had seen him touch the dragon's egg last night, and he'd carried Lady Butterwell to her lord husband's bed. Lord Gorman's finger stabbed down in accusation. "There he stands, the whore's son. Seize him." At the far end of the lists, Sir Glendon Ball looked up in confusion. For a moment, he did not appear to comprehend what was happening until he saw men rushing at him from all directions. Then the boy moved more quickly than Dunk could have believed. He had his sword half out of his sheath when the first man drew an arm around his throat. Ball wrenched free of his grip, but by then 2 more of them were on him. He slammed into him and dragged him down into the mud. Other men swarmed over him, shouting and kicking. That could have been me, Dunk realized.
"Why would I steal the egg? I was about to win it," he said. Dunk thought, and that they could not allow. I love the moment he says right here, "Hero's blood," Dunk, as Black Tom dismounted before the captive.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, he's standing up in that moment the way that Dunk wishes he was standing up in the moment if it were him.
Of course. That's my absolute favorite moment.
And we still don't know where Egg is.
Which, as you said, is seemingly not enough of a stressful thing for Dunk until we get here to the end. And for a few paragraphs here, Egg truly seems to be dead to me. Like, I actually thought he was actually dead, which I don't understand why Maynard Plumm is teasing Dunk like that. I did not see this coming. I actually thought that our boy, not our boy anymore, barely our boy, to be honest. He was never our boy, but still, I didn't think he'd betray us like this. Alyn Cockshaw.
Yeah, he was never our boy.
He was never our boy.
Like, you thought he was harmless.
Yeah, I didn't think he was evil. He's here trying to kill Dunk himself. He's truly evil.
During the mix of all this, he takes Dunk to a well and sticks a dirk into his back and is about to have him thrown down a well.
I absolutely love this exchange. He tells Dunk he says, I know where to find him. I know where to find Egg. Follow me. And so Dunk follows him a little bit. He's kind of on edge. He's not really sure what's going on. And then it's revealed to him. "You may turn and face me now, Hedge Knight." The blade's in his back. And then it gets taken away. Dunk turned. "My lord, is this about the dragon's egg?" "No, this is about the dragon." "Do you think I would stand by and let you steal him?" Sir Alyn grimaced. "I should have known better than to trust that wretched snail to kill you. I'll have my gold back, every coin."
"Him?
"This plump, pasty-faced, perfumed lordling is my secret enemy?"
The mystery knight has many mysteries.
He did not know whether to laugh or to weep. Sir Uther earned his gold. I have a hard head, that is all. This plump, pasty-faced, perfumed lordling is his secret enemy. And so a couple things then came to light for me here, because I had a lot of questions in our last chunk of reading about, if someone's been after Dunk, then why did they leave him alone when he was over in the Checky waters dealing with everything over there? Like, why didn't they deal with him immediately? Oh, it's because no one's been after Dunk. Yeah. It was only from the moment that Sir Alyn saw him on the road flirting with his bestie that he decided to become his enemy.
Maybe he likes him more than a bestie, too.
Well, truly, he must, is the way he talks about him.
Eamon and Aegon, wretched, witless bullies just like you. When we were little, they took pleasure in tormenting me, and Daemon both. I wept when Bitterstill carried him off to exile, and again when Lord Peake told me he was coming home, but then he saw you upon the road and forgot that I existed.
Aww.
Cockshaw waved his dagger threateningly. You can go into the water as you are, or you can go in bleeding. Which will it be? So he wants to take him out.
He's jealous.
So it's a small moment, and it adds a little bit to the shakiness of their whole deal.
Yeah.
If one of Daemon's main guys is willing to take someone out that could be an ally at this point, just because he's jealous that he'll be ingratiated at a higher level than he would be whenever this ultimately happens. But also, this would be the time to do all the movement before the rebellion is truly presented to everyone. You know, the middling people and some of the small folk here at White Walls.
For the same reason why they end up leaving Alyn in the well. Because Maynard Plumm says that we either do it now or later.
Yep, that's so true.
Let's just get it out of the way. We've got stuff to do. Something even bigger is about to happen. So this whole thing. So, you know, you get this situation and Dunk ends up pushing him down the well himself.
After he gets caught in the arm pretty deep.
Shout out.
That dagger/dirk.
So strong. Can't wait to see that go down. And then somebody else shows up. And I was scared that Dunk himself was about to go into the well. But then it's Maynard Plumm, who seems to know way more than he should. I'm going to keep reading. Dunk glanced down. He could see the raindrops dimpling the water, a good 20 feet below. The walls were covered with slime of algae. I never did you any harm, and never will. Daemon's mine. I will command his king's guard. You are not worthy of a white cloak. I never claimed I was. Daemon, the name rang in Dunk's head. Not so John. Hot. Daemon, after his father. Dunk the lunk, thick as a castle wall. Daemon Blackfire sired 7 sons. 2 died upon the red grass field, twins, ...
A bit weird for him to say it like that, but okay.
But okay.
It gets a little comic booky in this chunk of reading.
It kind of does. It kind of does.
And then the stone popped free. Dunk fed it to his lordship and felt his teeth crack beneath the blow. The well, is it? He hit the lordling in the mouth again, then dropped the stone, seized Cockshaw by the wrist, and twisted until a bone snapped and the dagger clattered to the stones. After you, my lord. Sidestepping, Dunk yanked at the lordling's arm and planted a kick in the small of his back. Lord Alyn toppled into the well. There was a splash. Well done, sir.
Stressful for a second.
Dunk whirled through the rain. All he could make out was a hooded shape and a single pale white eye. And all I have to say to you, Hannah, is from this point forward, just pay attention to the things that I highlighted.
Okay.
That's all I'll say.
Okay.
And I'm in the orange, Hannah's in the green.
Okay.
It was only when the man came forward that the shadowed face beneath the cowl took on the familiar features of Sir Maynard Plumm. The pale eye no more than the moonstone brooch that pinned his cloak at the shoulder.
And then down a couple paragraphs later, this close there was something queer about the cast of Sir Maynard's features.
Indeed.
The longer Dunk looked, the less he seemed to see. Okay, so I have so many questions. The first thing that popped in my head about him was if he was like
good timing. Sorry, go on.
The first question that popped in my head was if he was a faceless man. Oh, you know? And potentially somebody else disguised to be here at this tournament to potentially push things in one way or the other, or to be a spy, or to find out what was going on. That was the first thing I thought of. That was the only thing I thought of.
Friends listening, please don't be mad at me. I'm going to push the conversation. I'm going to prod it in certain directions. Just because it would be fun if I did.
Okay.
We'll see how this unfolds. Continue, please.
I'm scared.
Continue, please.
I mean, that was the only question I had. So there could be many people or reasons why somebody would want to have eyes on this potential uprising that is brewing. Somebody who would know who Egg is because he would be on Egg's side of things. And Maynard Plumm knows where Egg is, at the very least, based on what's happening in these next couple of paragraphs. He knows where Egg is, and he's teasing Dunk about the fact that Egg is dead. So he is either teasing him because he knows who Egg is and that Dunk needs to like protect him better, or he's just like being annoying. But I think that he understands who Egg is.
He says he showed the ring.
I know, but why doesn't Dunk react to the
Freak
fact
out
that
more?
Maynard Plumm knows what Egg's secret boot situation is?
And he knew Damon.
Yeah. So I feel like I feel like Dunk needs to ask some more questions.
Dunk is you right now.
I know.
Except you weren't stabbed. You were just kind of hit over the head with this.
We will let it slide. We are going to let it slide. But clearly between the strange things that Dunk is noticing based on Maynard Plumm's appearances and how much information he knows at this point in the story, he is clearly somebody else to me. I don't know who that would be right now, but he's somebody who is on Egg's side, who is here as a spy, I guess, to see what's going on, or to be in the know, or to keep Egg's family informed, or something or other.
Yeah.
Bloodraven himself, ? Maybe.
Who knows?
Should I not be asking that question?
What do I do?
Okay, you don't have to say anything else, but clearly he's somebody else who has magical...
Think about the rags. Think about how good he is with those rags.
Who has magical, mystical powers.
I mean, or just good at, working a wound.
Sure.
The wound work.
Sure.
The boiling of the wine.
Sure.
The stripping of the clean tunic, the smelling of making sure the tunic's not riddled with anything potentially like, wound festering. No weird scraps of dirt or filth from a horse. It's clean. And he boils it in the wine and he sticks it and uses that as the rag to sweep out the deep wound that didn't touch the bone. And he knew that if it was potentially cut by a sword that reached the bone, that the bone might be infected too, and then he would have to lose the arm.
So he knows a lot about
But it
medicine.
was a superficial wound. There you go. It was a superficial wound. And
yeah, so he clearly knows an extreme amount of things.
He knows about Damon and just the way he talks about it. And he knows about Egg pretty confidently. And it's not a boot, it's a ring. It's not a dagger, it's a ring.
That's...
It could be a dagger.
It could be a dagger in the
Maybe
show.
at one point in the future. But yeah, Maynard Plumm, like we were suspicious an episode or two ago about the way he talked about get Egg out of here.
Yeah.
Has the run of the situation. And like I said, good timing. Showed up right when he needed to with Sir Alyn.
Seems like he has a lot of eyes everywhere.
Go on.
Potentially.
He showed the ring to Maester Lothar, who delivered him to Butterwell, who no doubt pissed his breeches at the sight of it, and started wondering if he had chosen the wrong side, and how much Bloodraven knows of this conspiracy. The answer to that is quite a lot.
Plumm chuckled.
Who are you? A friend, said Maynard Plumm.
One who has been watching you and wondering at your presence in this nest of adders.
Now be quiet until we get you mended.
So that's who that is?
It's not confirmed.
Really?
Not at this point.
Oh, is it gonna... Well, I guess you can't tell me if it's gonna get confirmed.
You know what?
Okay.
Screw the rules. It's not confirmed.
At all?
It's not confirmed. But how much more confirmation do we need?
I guess none. But it's just so interesting to me because... I mean, obviously you pick up on some of those.
Yeah.
He's able to shift, And there's something about him that feels mystical.
The wiggliness in George's writing. If only it was a man that came, or if it was only when the man came forward that the shadowed face beneath the cowl took on the familiar features. So it's shifty, of Sir Maynard Plumm, the pale eye no more than the moonstone brooch that pinned his cloak at the shoulder. That gave me pause.
Yeah.
You'd be surprised to know how many lords prefer their kings brave and stupid. Damon is young and dashing and looks good on a horse. That sort of political, he just cut right to the heart of it.
Sure.
He's like, Damon looks good on a horse. And the lords don't want a smart leader. They want someone that just fits as a leader so they can pull the strings in the background.
Yeah.
He knows. He knows a lot.
He gets the inner workings.
He's a smart guy.
Yeah.
He's a smart guy.
So he wouldn't be a faceless man then because he's...
A faceless man would know that kind of thing, though, yeah.
Yeah, true. But I just didn't know if it was somebody like... So if it is Bloodraven, that makes sense because he's then able to potentially change his appearance. But at
Glamour.
First... Yeah, okay, yeah. Which is kind of the same thing.
Which is what the faceless men do.
Yeah, okay, it's the same thing. That was just kind of... I don't know why my brain went in that direction.
Well, I think that your brain went in the right direction because, I mean, who would assume that it's Bloodraven himself that sat with us beside the lake? that shared in our salt beef. Who would assume that we've been with Bloodraven the whole time?
We can't give salt beef to Bloodraven.
But Bloodraven knows Dunk. If this is Bloodraven.
Okay, I need to go back and reread because that puts a whole different perspective on this entire situation.
And he knows Dunk at his best. And he knows Bran.
That's really nice.
Yep.
That's really nice.
Yep.
Okay, so it's not confirmed this is actually Bloodraven, but we can just assume that potentially it is.
I mean, who
Plumm
better?
chuckled. Who else would he be? Unless George is trying to tease something else, but I think that this is the perfect situation.
It could be one of the Raven's teeth that know how to glamour as well. It could be, like you said, a faceless assassin that's just assuming more about the world, but wouldn't it be better if it was Maynard Plumm being Bloodraven?
Also, like I said, it makes sense why he would be talking to Dunk about the fact that, like, keep telling Dunk the egg is dead. Because he's like, hello, you brought him here after I told you not to bring him here. I said it was, he explains to him some point in this, it wasn't about you. Oh, here it is. I did urge you to flee, you will recall, but you esteemed your honor more than your life. Classic. An honorable death is well and good, but if the life at stake is not your own, what then? Would your answer be the same, sir? So
whose life?
A faceless assassin wouldn't know or wouldn't care necessarily to care for Egg himself.
Or to judge who's with Egg.
Exactly.
So deeply.
Exactly. To kind of be his little watchful eye as Egg is on his
family member.
Rumspringa. Yeah.
Yeah.
And to protect Egg in the situation. So Egg didn't run away. Did Maynard Plumm come and scoop him up and get him out of the situation?
With the gods.
Because that's what I was wondering.
And you will know why, I think.
As I was reading through, before we got to this point, I was like, surely, before we got to this point with Maynard Plumm in these chapters or in these pages, I was thinking, surely Egg picked up on more than Dunk is picking up on, and he either ran away or he hid himself or he went to talk to, like, find someone with his family. Like, he kind of got out of Dodge. But it also makes sense that Maynard Plumm / Bloodraven, understanding the situation, would he have revealed himself to Egg and brought him into protection? Or, you know what I mean? Who initiated that? I'm not 100% sure. But it makes sense. Wow. This is kind of tripping me up a little. Because there's been so much conversation about Bloodraven's abilities, and we've been talking about who he is, and if only we could understand him as the man he is, and is he really this mystical sorcerer, or is he just a guy who's trying to perpetuate this thing about him so he could be more powerful? But if he's able to change his appearance so significantly, then maybe he is that powerful. But at the same time,
maybe he's just good at medicine.
Yeah, Egg.
Maybe he's just really smart.
Egg is able to disguise himself without using any glamours. And so is John the Fiddler. He's able to disguise himself without using any glamours. Maybe it is still a Bloodraven that is just a guy, continue to perpetuate the lore about him. I don't know. I'm literally going to reread up until this point when we're finished recording because there's so many questions. This whole time you knew that that's who he was?
So those of you listening, I've just had a picture of the three-eyed raven from House of Dragon Season 2, just a younger Brendan Rivers at the tree.
He knows.
Up this whole time.
He knows all of our boys. Oh my gosh, that's kind of fun. Okay. One thing that's so fun that George has then put into his stories is we have one character that connects every era in a way that is exciting and makes sense.
Yeah. And we had Aemon up until the time that he passed, but I don't think Aemon knew as much as Brendan did.
No, he wasn't the three-eyed raven.
Yeah.
He wasn't an all-seeing.
But he was close with him, even at the wall.
That's true.
Even at the wall for a while.
That's true. Wow.
Yeah. He knows Dunk.
So Dunk is destined for greatness, but not in the way that Daemon thinks.
Daemon is so silly.
I was going to talk to you about that. But I love how he's so theatrical. He's like, I'm not going to tell you who I am. I'm going to leave the tent and go and whip my cloak as I go out to fake joust. I absolutely love him. But yeah.
Yeah, so he's here, you know, he heard about the tourney, he heard about the egg, and he came, I'm guessing, let's just, for the sake of the convo, if it's not, you know, someone else with the ability to glamour, or if it's not actually Maynard Plumm or whatever.
That's all out the window.
You know, he was there on the edge of the hedge, shared in the beef, shared in the story. Did he know it was egg the whole time? So yeah, go back. Maybe we will go back and see and hear, remember some of the things he said about, you know, the first rebellion.
Yeah, because so there's two things floating in my mind. Is that one, he was on his way because, like you pointed out, word got out that an egg was just around, maybe. And if there's enough talk of a dragon's egg, it would make sense that they would have eyes on the situation, like you were saying a little bit before.
Or if he knew even more.
Yeah, or if he knew even more, but at the very least, that could potentially tip him off. Yeah. And maybe he was just on the way and so happened to run into. But sure, they know where Egg is. Like, it's not a secret what Egg is doing to his family.
He must be closely watched, yeah.
He's being watched.
He must be. There's so much that could be going on right now.
That is so funny that Dunk's like, thinks that he's in charge. I'm obsessed.
We're going to the wall.
Yeah. But they're like, oh, yeah, you know, this is good for Egg to go to the wall, so we will help them along their way. Meanwhile, they get sidetracked on their way to this tourney into the hornet's nest, and Maynard Plumm's like, wait a second here.
Let me save your arm.
Don't go there.
Yeah, don't go.
Oh, man, this is so exciting.
Don't bring Egg, but he lets him bring Egg there.
He does, but again, if we're looking at Egg developing into the man he will eventually become, if this is Egg's walkabout, an opportunity to, or rumspringa, whatever we're going to call it, opportunity to see the world for what it is and to really be among.
What a way.
There's no better way. And if he's truly safe, because if it is, he's got two things helping him out here. One, Dunk, who's extremely strong and really cares about him. So he's got a physical presence about him. And then if Maynard Plumm is Bloodraven, then he's got this additional presence that's really going to protect him in this scenario. So he can't truly get hurt, potentially.
Yeah, but come on. Look what almost happened to Dunk just now.
This is so stressful.
He almost got stabbed in the heart. It could have not just been the arm. Yeah. And we still don't know where Egg is.
Yeah,
but
if Bloodraven's here, I'm not worried about it.
In the room, kind of the way that he's moving. It seems like to me that Bloodraven's kind of using them to propel this tourney plot along a little bit and have people reveal who they are in a way that he sees fit. If this is him,
well, it might be.
I'm assuming it's. Let's just say it.
Let's just say it is. Yeah. It might be beneficial for him to perpetuate that so that more people who are in this scenario can be able to...
They see the Gormy thing.
Yeah.
They see Gormy come out.
Yes.
Instead of cutting it off at the root, they let it fail.
Yes, so that it's public. Mm-hmm. Public knowledge. So we can say, hey, look at what these people tried to do.
And if we move troops in on these people, it makes sense.
It makes sense. Because here's all these randos that are here at this tourney. We have evidence.
And we're not just ruling with an iron fist.
Yeah, yeah.
Pretty freaking cool.
That is so cool.
And how cool for the adaptation is it going to effing be?
I literally...
If we get Brendan Rivers walking on his own 2 feet.
Surely we get more time with Maynard Plumm through the rest of the story, too.
I can't wait till you finish it. You'll see even more.
Oh, my God.
Yeah. So back to the book. Enough of this picture.
But what a huge Easter egg and exciting thing for people who love A Song of Ice and Fire, who've never read A Night of the Seven Kingdoms, or who aren't in on the theorizing, because... this isn't just the comedic story that it's being advertised as.
Are you Baelor Targaryen?
I love that. Then would you get out of the way?
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, burying this type of lore in a show like that.
Let's go.
This is what my dreams are made of. Like, this is truly, I was already obsessed with The Night of the Seven Kingdoms, but this is truly so exciting.
And it's the last one we get. Where's book 4?
Nah, book 4 is going to be more of a Checky Waters situation, completely removed from any lore.
Maybe. That's what we thought about the Mystery Knight.
Nah, we knew the Mystery Knight mattered because they were with the royals.
But did you think that John the Fiddler was Daemon II?
No.
At the real start of the next rebellion?
No. I need to go. Y'all been know better than me what I thought it was. I need to go back and listen to what we talked about.
The wine soup began to steam. Sir Maynard found Dunk's good silk tunic, sniffed at it suspiciously, then slid out a dagger and began to cut it up. Why didn't I highlight those? Dunk swallowed his protest. Ambrose Butterwell has never been what you might call decisive, Sir Maynard said as he wadded up 3 strips of silk and dropped them in the wine. He had doubts about this plot from the beginning, doubts that were inflamed when he learned that the boy did not bear the sword. And this morning, his dragon's egg vanished, and with it the last dregs of his courage. Sir Glendon did not steal the egg, Dunk said. He was in the yard all day, tilting and watching others tilt. Peake will find the egg in his saddlebags all the same. Makes me think that he did it, not them. The wine was boiling. Plumm drew on a leather glove and said, "Try not to scream." Then he pulled out a strip of silk of the boiling wine and began to wash the cut, yeah?
Did he plant the egg with Fireball's son, who was they were one of our road buddies.
What a way to disrupt the tourney. Like, maybe that explains why Gormy Peake went out in the middle of the tournament. Because, like, holy crap, this guy stole it. So what a way to break apart the whole thing and make them act silly.
Yeah, maybe he got enough information that he needed, or he realized Egg was, like, in danger or something.
Or maybe he wanted to turn this whole thing on its head.
And he did it to one of our road brothers.
Yeah. I mean, Bloodraven wouldn't pull like, he wouldn't stop short for someone random.
And Glendon Ball,
he's pulling the strings in all this.
Glendon Ball has enough of the ego to continue to be like, I was going to win it anyway.
Yeah, or they would believe that he would be the one to do it. Because he'd been making so much noise on his own.
I was going to get it no matter what. Okay, keep going. Sorry.
Where's Egg? With the gods, I told you. Dunk reached up and wrapped his good hand around Plumm's neck. Speak plain. I am sick of hints and winks.
Finally.
Tell me where to find the boy, or I will snap your bloody neck, friend or no. The sept. You would do well to go armed, so to the sept we go. Sir Maynard smiled. Is that plain enough for you, Dunk? His first stop, so he leaves. His first stop was Sir Uther Underleaf's pavilion. When Dunk slipped inside, he found only the squire, Will, bent over a washtub, scrubbing out his master's small clothes. You again. Sir Uther is at the feast, so they are doing a night too. What do you want? My sword and shield. Have you brought the ransom? No. Then why would I let you take your arms? I have need of them. That's no good reason. How about try and stop me and I'll kill you? Will gaped. They're over there. Wow. End of part 6.
There we go. So who is holding Egg? Why is Sir Maynard Plumm, aka Bloodraven?
Why is
he cool with it? Why does he need to be armed?
Who stole the egg?
Who stole the egg? Is John the Fiddler still into Dunk?
Yeah.
And will more revelry continue with the rebellion a brewing? How are they going to get out of here? Who tells him that he's not allowed to leave?
Gormy.
Gormy tells him he can't leave.
Yeah, because he just got told that info.
Yeah, so how are they going to get out of here? If they get out of here, Dunk the Lunk has really done it again.
All right, time for our owns.
I loved this.
I wonder if any of yours changed.
Reading. Man, this was so good. Okay. I think my own is going to be this. When Sir Glendon Ball is being accused. This is so good. At the far end of the field, Sir Glendon was yanked roughly back onto his feet. He was brown with mud from waist to ankle, and blood and rain washed down his cheeks. Hero's blood, thought Dunk, as Black Tom dismounted before the captive. Where is the egg? Blood dribbled from Ball's mouth. Why would I steal the egg? I was about to win it. I thought Dunk. And that they could not allow. The fact that he is being beat up by these men. Why would I steal the egg? I was about to win it.
Put him on your King's Guard.
Truly, this guy can get it. So that's my own. Sir Glendon Ball for his ego and for his just ability to barrel through any situation with the confidence of Fireball's son.
Might he actually be? Does it even matter?
Maybe.
My own goes to Dunk for the way he handled Will at the end of the chunk.
Yes.
I'll kill you if you don't give it to me. Okay, that makes sense. And also to Plumm, a.k.a. Sir Brendan Rivers, for his deft wound work with the boiled wine, saving our boy's arm.
It's going to take me a while.
That was a lot, huh?
Yeah, it's going to take me a while to unpack that. Because I thought something weird was up with him, but I didn't truly think he was Bloodraven until we had that conversation.
I had to nudge it along.
I thought I was being funny. Like, I thought I was being like, haha, that would be wild. But
once you said the word, I was like,
Yeah.
I can't hide it. Like, facial expression gave it away 100%.
It did.
What am I going to do? Lie? So, the Mystery Night Part 7 is next. Send us your owns for the Mystery Night Part 7 when we post those on
Instagram, on X, on YouTube, or you can send us an email to contact@gameofowns.com.
So unless anything weird happens between now and the next time we record, that will be our next episode. Watch those spaces, and we'll be with you on the next one. Thanks for listening.
See you guys soon.